You did everything you were supposed to do. You followed the blueprint to a T. You have a house, you have a family, you have a job, you have something to show for your life at a certain age. And I keep hearing from men over and over that they feel like they're behind in some way, or they're not feeling fulfilled by the amount of successes that they appear to have in their life. And they thought when they hit a certain milestone with these things that they've accumulated, whether that's the good job, the nice house, the stability, they were going to feel overall fulfilled in such a deeply enriching way at a certain age if they just followed what they were supposed to do. And what I'm seeing is the opposite. I'm seeing a lot of numbness and unfulfilled lives being lived. And a lot of guys are trying to reframe it as some sort of midlife crisis. I've done everything I was supposed to do, and why do I feel this way? There must be something wrong with me, or I'm going through some sort of existential struggle at the moment. Maybe things will just get back to normal. Maybe I should just go on another weekend trip. Maybe I should buy more things or try to strive harder and push myself harder for a promotion. Maybe accumulating more over this feeling will help fix it. And I've certainly dealt with stuff like that in my life. I've definitely felt this kind of internal struggle with my age and where I'm supposed to be in life and all the things I've accomplished. I'm supposed to have this feeling of I made it. I got everything I wanted. I'm safe. I should feel really good and on top of the world. But I still feel kind of like I'm drifting and a little bit empty inside. So, dissecting what that is in my journal and talking to other guys, I'm starting to realize it's not really a midlife crisis. I think it's just this overwhelming feeling of not wanting to sound ungrateful about your life, but feeling guilty for having all this success and feeling like you should have overwhelming gratitude, but feeling like something's still lacking. And that could be really hard to talk about with people, especially people around you. They don't seem to understand. They see that you have a good job, maybe you're the boss, you're a good father, a good husband, a good partner, and on paper, everything looks perfect. But on the inside, you can't tell people that you're secretly struggling with how you're feeling about your day to day life. You feel empty and longing for something that you can't explain. And you don't want to sound ungrateful to people who on the outside see that you have all this success and what you've accumulated as far as society goes and you followed the blueprint, but you are internally feeling this struggle and this crisis, whatever age you may be. But I'm noticing it more in people in their 30s and 40s who have strived in their 20s, achieved what they wanted to achieve, climbed all those mountains, and at the top, they're still feeling empty and like something just doesn't feel right and it doesn't fit right. And what I'm hearing is they have to go home and they have to put on a face and they have to be something that they don't really feel that they are. They're scrolling, they're playing video games, they're buying boats, they're taking weekend trips, they're going to the bar, they're doing whatever they need to do to mask this overarching feeling that maybe I don't feel 110% fulfilled in my life. And I think guys have a lot of trouble expressing that to other guys because we're supposed to appear strong and not be vulnerable. but I think they're internally also struggling to express that to anyone around them or even to themselves. You might be hearing what I'm saying right now and think, yeah, that sounds a lot like me. You know, I go to work, I shuffle through the motions, I can buy stuff, I have my safety net, I have investments, I have a great family and people who care about me. I cannot in any way tell people that something feels off and that I might be struggling on the inside. So, this video is for the guys out there like me who are trying to reconfigure and really dissect what's going on internally with themselves. And that's what this whole channel is about. I want this to feel like a safe space for guys, and I want to call out those feelings we have that we can't necessarily express to other people without sounding ungrateful or that we don't appreciate our lives. We do. It's just different when you think you're having some sort of midlife crisis and that you're not where you thought you'd be at a certain age, or you are where you are at a certain age, but you still feel like no amount of stuff and no amount of success and no amount of safety can fulfill what I'm secretly lacking. Comment below if you feel any of these things and you're internally dealing with any of these struggles. I'm trying to make this an open conversation for guys out there to feel like my channel is a safe space, to form some sort of brotherhood underneath what we're all going through, because I feel like we're all disconnected and lacking in some sort of connection. And I want my channel to be a space to talk about those things. So if you're on your way home from work right now and you're listening to this and it resonated with something, or you're sitting in your bed scrolling, thinking about your work day tomorrow and all the obligations to come, or you're sitting alone by yourself somewhere just watching this and you're feeling that internal longing and lacking that I'm talking about, then comment below or feel free to reach out to me and let's start a discussion. I want to be here for guys and men who are struggling with society's expectations of them and this pressure that they put on themselves to follow a blueprint, reach the top, and then feel like something's still missing. I don't want that feeling to go unnoticed, and I don't want that conversation to not happen because we're afraid to be vulnerable and find out more about ourselves. Thank you guys for listening, and I'll catch you in the next one.